Hey guys, it is Carly. Welcome back. I am bringing you day number 10 of my 31 Days of Horror series. Yes, we are on day number 10 already, and here's to 21 more days. So, today's video, we are going to be discussing Rob Zombie's House of a Thousand Corpses. I actually forgot this movie was set on Halloween, which is really stupid because it is extremely set on Halloween, but for some reason, I thought, I looked up Halloween movies before I did the series, and this was listed as one, and I thought, oh, maybe, the people who made this list just thought, because Rob Zombie did it, it was set on Halloween. And then upon rewatch, it is extremely set on Halloween. There's pumpkins everywhere, and the family is very into Halloween. So that was idiotic on my part. But anyway, to actually get into the movie plot, basically, two young couples are on a search for roadside attractions. They're on a road trip. They're trying to make, write a book or a documentary or something of that sorts about roadside attractions that are kind of off the wall and things like that. And they're driving along and they run low on gas. So they stop at this gas station, which conveniently is a roadside attraction in itself. It's run by this dude who dresses like a clown. That is Captain Spaulding, of course. And not only do they sell weird things inside, and it's also very random, they sell fried chicken and it's a gas station, but there's also a special ride that you can go on that takes you through a tour of murders and their history and whatnot. And after taking that tour, they learn about Dr. Satan, who is a local legend, a killer, and they asked Captain Spaulding where they can find where this dude died so that they can add that to their list of findings, and he gives them directions. They go, they have a car issue once again, and then they end up at this bizarre family's house while their car is being fixed, and that is when things take a turn for the worse. So, yep, that is your basic storyline there. To start off with, the main menu is pretty cool for this movie. It's like an interactive menu with Captain Spaulding hosting it. He kind of comes, before you push play, you ring a bell and he comes out as the owner of the store, and he's acting like he's talking to you, the audience, and I think that's kind of cool because it reminds me of a Disney World ride or Kennywood ride where you interact with the ride, or a game, or even a kids TV show like Dora. And I just think it's very bizarre and off the wall to put this in a horror movie. I did not watch the entire main menu bit, but I've seen it before and I think it's pretty cool. So right off the bat, that makes you interested in the movie. And then the opening credits to the movie are cool as well. It reminds you of some just bizarre music video kind of. Rob Zombie, is known for putting just weird imagery in his movies, disturbing clips and things like that. Things that look very old, they're from the 70s and stuff like that. I've always liked that about his films. I think that's a nice touch. And then the music that plays is always pretty spot on. It just, it feels kind of it also feels kind of like a home video, something that some person would throw together and put on YouTube and call it the most disturbing video in the world you must watch. That's what these kind of images always remind me of. So I think that is cool as well. And then, but when it comes to the story, I've always felt the story is not too solid. I feel this definitely is more style over substance. While the characters, I think, do a great job of acting and things like that, I feel there's not much character development with the actual victims, the two couples. At the end of the movie, I always get confused on which girl was which. Obviously the boys look totally different, but the two girl characters, they're really just nothing to me. I can't tell which one, was the one with the dad and which one was just the other one there. So I always have a problem with that. I hate when I cannot remember which character is which, can't tell them apart. That always kind of takes me out of a movie, but For this movie, it's kind of passable because this movie is more so focused on the psychotic family than it is with the victims themselves. They kind of want you to be attached to the family, and that's kind of cool, so I could give it a pass. I think the actors, the ones who play the family members, do a great job. You have, like, Karen Black, who I've only ever seen in Burnt Offerings. That's one of my other favorite horror movies of all time, and to see her in this role, it's like a totally different role from Burnt Offerings, and this is many years later, so, you know, that just shows she's a good actress. And same goes for, like, Sherry Moon and Sherry Moon Zombie and Bill Moseley as well. Like, if you see them in other roles, like, they can play totally different characters. Like, Bill Moseley always plays, like, a crazy, off-the-wall type character, but he plays crazy in different ways. Like, this movie is a lot like the Texas Chainsaw Massacre movies. You could see that it is very much a tribute to those. And, of course, Bill Moseley played Chop Top in Part 2, and he is crazy in that movie, and he is crazy in this movie, but you feel like he's more mature and smarter in this movie compared to TCM2, where he's just talking utter nonsense. In this one, he's more menacing and just scary. And then with Sherry Zombie, like, I don't have a problem with her. I do find her to be kind of annoying in this movie and Devil's Rejects. I know she's kind of supposed to be like that. She's supposed to be very immature and, like, she seems, like, younger and just, like, she's just completely insane, basically, and, like, crazy and just laughs at stuff that should not be laughed at. I just find her laugh to be annoying and her way of acting to be a little over the top sometimes, but, I mean, that's the type of character she was supposed to be playing, so I can't really argue too much into that. It's just not my favorite role of hers. So, yeah, like, the story, I think it's a decent story. You know, it's a very basic story. Basically, it's been done before. You know, people just get caught up in the wrong place. A bunch of dumb kids make the wrong decisions. They end up somewhere they shouldn't be, and then they end up getting captured, tortured, and things like that. It just ends badly for them. I feel like the young couples were kind of stupid for even, like, falling for this family aspect, just thinking it's a Halloween shindig and going along with it. I feel like if that were me, I'd be, like, scared out of my mind knowing these people were definitely probably going to murder me later. So I do feel like they're kind of dumb characters for that, but you really just don't care about them enough to care. So, other than that, like, I just like the family terrorizing them, but the ending, really, I just am not a fan of at all. The whole part with the actual Dr. Satan and them going down into this, like, underground, like, hell, basically, it always takes me out of the movie. I'm not a big fan of that. All the times I've watched it, I haven't been a fan. I know a lot of people do agree with that is, like, the major flaw of this film is the ending not being the greatest idea in the world. The very, very last scene is decent. It's not too bad. But, yeah, just, like, the ending, it just doesn't really do it for me. It's very much average. But, that's about all I really have to say. I think overall it's a pretty solid movie, and for the time, I feel like it was probably really great for the horror genre. It brought something different to the table, more extreme, things like that, so I appreciate it for that. And it just has a lot of great, like, colors and clips in it, like, great music and things like that. The style was really awesome. Like, I always like how you see clips of, like, Bill Moseley or Sherry that aren't happening right now, but it's just them kind of talking to a camera, almost like they're making their own documentary, and then you're seeing, like, present day. I think that's a pretty cool and unique touch. And then, and also I wanted to talk about the ride at the beginning that they go on with the murderers. I think that ride is pretty cool, and I think that would be a great idea for, like, an actual haunted house horror ride. I'm sure it probably is somewhere, but I think it's pretty cool. Like, they go through and you see, like, Albert Fish and, like, Lizzie Borden, Ed Gein, and things like that. That would be a pretty nifty idea for an actual horror attraction, so I always like that about it. But, yeah, that's about all I really have to say for this one. Like I said, it's above average, definitely. The story is not that's solid, but the acting is pretty good. Character development could have been better, but overall, I give this movie a 7.5 out of 10. I think has been my rating consistently through the years, so I'm going to stick to it. Thank you guys once again for joining me for day number 10 of my 31 Days of Horror, and I shall see you tomorrow.